Regal Movie Masters. Unlimited.
This is the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited podcast where we indiscriminately watch every goddamn movie that comes out at the local theater. This time around, we got 4 movies to talk about, which is quite a coincidence because in my presence are 4 movie masters. We have Justine.
Yes.
Brent.
Oi, oi, oi.
And Dylan.
What's up?
I would be the 4th one I'm calling. Movies in question are Ticket to Paradise, Till, Pray for the Devil, and Triangle of Sadness. Leading with Ticket to Paradise, it's a story about 2 parents, Julia Roberts and George Clooney, who go to sabotage their daughter's wedding in a paradise place.
What a weird premise.
That's objectively what happened.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they're divorced in the movie, and they don't like each other arbitrarily. They were just told they don't like each other. And their daughter, who graduates fucking law school, goes to vacation, falls in love with the guy, decides to marry him there. And the parents catch wind of this. They're invited to the wedding that's on the island, which kind of puts it in a dubious legal position, I would think. But regardless, they go to, what island is it? Bali. Okay. Filmed in
Queensland, Australia.
Yeah, so not actually in
No.
Bali. And hijinks ensue here. The whole time I'm watching this, I just could not shake the feeling that the script was not current. Like nothing about this movie feels like 2022. I was trying to place it exactly. I was like, okay, 1997. If you want to be pedantic, yes, technically there are cell phones vaguely featured in the background. The movie about centering around people in their 20s, early 20s, and you see a cell phone like 1 minute of screen time.
It's interesting that you mentioned the year 1997 because this is Clooney's return to rom-coms. And
Yeah.
do you know the last year that he did a rom-com?
I feel like you do.
1996.
What was,
so
what
maybe
was his rom-com then?
I don't know what the last exact one
Oh,
was. but
From
I'm
Dusk
saying-
Till Dawn.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But
Starring also Julia Roberts as the devil. You don't remember that?
it's been a while. I might have to dust that one off. But yeah, it might have been that the writer/director was trying to recapture that era of Clooney and Roberts. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why it felt like it was 1997.
Yeah, I felt that way more in terms of like the absence of the present rather than like the presence of the past, if that makes sense.
Of course.
If I might lay down some Logic-esque rhymes on you right now, some wordplay. I was like, could it be 87, like a Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn thing? And I'm like,
No.
no, the cultural insensitivity would keep it off balance there. But
Clooney would have had to. Yeah, he would have had to say a few things if it was 87.
yeah, there would be some cooking pots with like cannibals or some shit like that. It would have been fucked in the 80s. Let's not take it there. But the 90s, I think maybe we would have had it together. This was a post Cool Runnings environment. I'll be generous and say like 2001 is what this movie feels like it could have been filmed in. And I think again, aside from some small technology details, there is nothing like modern about this. Aggressively bland.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really hard to even like acknowledge that you watched this movie. I kind of felt fucked up after this. I'm not gonna lie. Like I watched this movie and I just had like an emptiness in me. Like I think I just went home and like went to bed.
Yeah.
Did you at least brush your teeth?
I mean, maybe. Does it matter? I don't remember it.
Right,
Like, I
right.
remember brushing my teeth that night as much as I do this movie because there's like in addition to, I feel possibly a dusted off 20-year-old script, just a very, very non-thinly veiled excuse for just 2 movie stars to be on vacation together.
You're now the third person out of our group of 4 where I've heard some iteration of I'm forgetting this movie rapidly. 'Cause I remember when we got in the parking lot, I said, are we recording tonight? Like, no, we're going to watch a couple more than do this one. I was like, oh, I'm going to forget it. And then
Yes.
Dylan before this was just like, I don't know how much. Yeah.
Oh, I'll speak for the rest of the room. I remember this quite.
Yeah. What were your
vivid.
favorite parts, Dylan?
The dancing scene when they're
Right.
like getting all drunk.
Do you recall the songs they danced to?
First, it was before they do House of Pain.
They didn't do House of Pain. That was in the trailer.
No, but they do jump around in the end. It was like that
They
second.
do
half
jump
of
around
the
when they
song.
do that Run DMC song with the
Yeah, there you go. The
dance
remix
beat.
of
It's like that.
yeah,
But they kick off with CNC Music Factory, right? Everybody dance now?
yeah.
I'll buy it. That the DJ is playing at the club.
Because
With
the
vinyl.
one girl was
Vinyl.
like, "Can you play something that's more appropriate for them?
Age appropriate.
Oh yeah, in my vinyl crate that I brought to this island that has 20 people on it.
But was it like a resort island? Because that's why she and her friend were there, right? Like they were going on vacation after graduating college, as they kept saying. That she
Yes.
was a lawyer.
Lawyer
'cause she
college.
graduated college. But then they make it seem like, oh, it's just this like remote island where she meets this guy and his family who appear to be the only people that live on the island.
Yeah.
It does look really nice, even though it's Australia, but it looks nice.
You're in Queensland, Australia.
Is it weirdly, I don't want to say racist, but like the main reason that you, the viewer, can sympathize with this girl falling in love with this guy on an island, they do such bad characterization that they need to pad it out with a lot of just glory shots and just pornographic visualizations of how beautiful this island is.
No, that was the weird part, is it didn't succeed in doing that.
Well,
Like
it's
a
like
lot
a
of
pretty
the parts
place.
look like green screen or like a straight up like backlot movie set. Like that waterfall part where the
Right.
girl and the guy are
Classic.
sitting there. It looked
Well,
like
they
they're
didn't
sitting
have
on a
one.
plastic
They didn't
rock.
have a tropical waterfall in Australia. What do you want?
And the best looking part was when you saw them seaweed farming. Like that looked neat. But then everybody has to tell you, this
Right.
place is so beautiful. This place is the most beautiful place I've ever
But they don't
seen.
ever talk about the guy she's marrying. They
No,
only talk
and
about the
the-
place.
The
So
only
they're-
thing she ever says too is like, I belong here.
yeah.
She doesn't say like,
I like this
I
guy.
love him.
This guy
I'm
is really
gonna
cool.
stay.
This guy's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fine. He's, obviously kind of
Well,
paper
maybe
thin.
that's what it is. Like groom is the ticket to
Tickets
Paris.
to Paris.
Yeah, because
You know what I'm
he
saying?
he gets to immigrate her into the
Yeah.
country.
Wow. So I looked it up, and the last rom-com apparently was One Fine Day that George Clooney did
Yeah.
with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay.
I never saw it. I don't know what it is.
So this is also the 5th movie that Clooney and Roberts have done together. Does anybody
Oh.
know the other 4? I think Dylan's got at least 2.
I wouldn't remember. George Clooney and Julia Roberts
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
Batman and Robin
Batman
from Dusk
Forever.
Till Dawn.
Till dawn.
Yeah, because Julie Roberts was the devil.
The
Yeah.
Oh Brother, Oh Where Art Thou, Brother.
Right. Right.
The Clayton movie. Forgot what it's called. That boring ass movie. God damn it. Well, where the sheep sleep or whatever that movie's called. The sheep sleeping. What's the movie called?
Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah, that
no,
one.
No, she wasn't in that
Where
one.
the sheep sleeping, I think.
Yeah,
is
Where the
actual
Sheep
title.
Sleepin'.
If you own the Criterion Collection on DVD, you'll know that it's
The original
by the
title.
proper title.
ER. Snowball Hospital.
Pretty
whatever
Women.
that show was called.
Pretty Women.
Pretty Women. Hold on.
There's 2 that I think you would get.
Why don't you
soft.
just break them down?
Yeah,
All right, so if you want to go chronologically, you got Ocean's 11 in 2001.
That's not a rom com. That's a heist
No,
movie.
movies
Fifth
that they
movie
were in
together.
Oh, my bad. My
Oh.
bad. My bad. My bad.
Ocean's 11, 2001. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, 2002. Ocean's 12, 2004. And then Money Monster in 2016.
That was
Julia
that-
Roberts are in these ocean movies.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why this movie, like the previews, they harken back to Oceans because in Oceans they are divorced when they start out. They do the heist and they get married again. So you thought that they might get married again in this movie too.
Spoilers, please, because the ending.
Oh yeah. this podcast is like always
Sorry.
avoided.
I will
You don't
say-
know if they get back together.
Yeah, they
leave
just
it
kinda-
really open ended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just jump.
Yeah,
They
all
might have
do
just
is
drowned.
jump. Yeah.
Oh boy, you
I
know,
like that part too. That was a good part.
I'm glad you mentioned trailer because that reminded me that this is a really bad example of or a great example of the bad quality of just putting every funny scene in your trailer.
Yeah.
If you watch the trailer, you have seen this movie. They leave nothing unpreviewed.
Funny because one of my other favorite moments is when that guy gets bit by the snake, and they never once talked about that.
Oh my
They never
God.
once talked in the trailer talked about going to the girl's graduation. I thought that was hilarious. They never once put that in the
They
trailer.
didn't cover in the trailer how the girl who gets married has a friend that goes with her on the trip to Bali and stays for like just 3 months,
Yeah.
even though she
That's
doesn't
so
have
long.
any love interest there. She has no reason to be there.
She's just chilling.
Yeah.
That story.
She's in her lane.
You have to watch the movie. There's no point in the trailer where they show the guy's family talking to George Clooney and Julia
Well,
Roberts.
yeah, they don't want to scare people off.
Oh.
They also don't put that you're kind of confused if there's some tension between Clooney and the girl's friend.
Yeah, that was really weird.
That was my favorite part.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, this is
Wait,
I would say
what's
that is
happening
my
right now?
favorite part of the movie is the sexual tension between a recent college graduate and George Clooney.
and this is a complete fiction because as we pointed out pretty quickly, why is George Clooney single? Like, he is George Clooney.
He's rich in the movie.
It was insane.
Yeah, they say that in the trailer. They say that he's single and rich.
No, they say this is why Superman works alone.
Yeah, they do say that. He says that a lot.
This comes up a lot.
Yeah, he
in the
kept
movie.
saying that.
I don't know.
Then he
But-
kept showing off his back credit card, like glory shots of his back card.
every time anyone needs to pay for something, he brings out the back card and says, "Never leave home without it."
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When he pays for that, his daughter's friend's drink. It's just a glory
Never leave home
shot.
without it.
What was with they had to have Julia Roberts need to leave somebody to be with George Clooney, so it's just this like pilot that you didn't understand the original chemistry between her and the pilot.
Yeah,
in any
she has
Yeah.
a like overly nice guy, younger pilot boyfriend that we're supposed to think is nice, but just kind of bland and milquetoast. See, this is why Shakespeare works alone. Because Shakespeare, if you go back to like a Midsummer Night's Dream
Okay.
versus Hamlet, that's the
Okay.
definition of like comedy versus tragedy. Tragedy, everyone dies. Comedy, everyone fucks at the end. And like they left so much fucking on the table at the end of this movie. There's like 1.5 couples. I'm putting the 0.5 on the Julia Roberts and George Clooney because ... unknown. The pilot guy doesn't get any. The girl's friend doesn't get any.
Mhm.
The other two are married. I think those were it. This is a very small cast. I don't know about the guy who runs the resort. I don't know if he gets any. There's a lot of people not getting any at the end of this movie, and that's bad
including the audience.
screenwriting. Yeah.
So this might I will say this. If you're listening internationally, this actually might be the movie for you because this movie in our country raked in only about 16 million opening weekend, but internationally 87 million.
Jesus.
I think that's just
So-
Clooney.
Yeah, just star
Yeah.
power.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, star power for sure. I also have a theory that perhaps this script may have been dumbed down for an international audience, kind of what I would call the Mr. Bean effect. If you think about the Mr. Bean television show, it's only 14 episodes. He never says anything, but it's beloved everywhere. I think because he doesn't say anything. So this movie also doesn't say anything. So it's just, hey, look, there's Julia Roberts. We know her. There's George Clooney. We know him. Let's go see them in this movie, perhaps. Whereas here, they've just been off the radar for so long. Everybody's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it on a plane
Yeah.
for a third.
And they go do those like ads for all kinds of just different brands
Right.
overseas. So they probably are on people's radar way more everywhere else
Mm.
than they are here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very bland film, but it's like, it's inoffensive. It's not mean-spirited. It's not like hostile.
Then
in
why'd
any
you
way.
why'd you kick in the trash can?
Well, I was just going through some personal shit.
Oh, word.
I was just working out some inner demons there.
The dialogue was bland. The
Right.
story was bland. The filming was bland.
Right,
Like
yeah.
everything about it was really bland. And at the end,
Oh, outtakes?
bloopers or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had outtakes. So you got to see that Julia Roberts and George Clooney were kind of just ad-libbing some of the stuff.
Mhm.
It's like, man, so you didn't even write the jokes? Like,
Yeah, I
you
keep
didn't
saying
write
there's
anything.
there's a script they dusted off from the 90s. Maybe it's just a step further. There's no script.
Yeah.
Just, hey, you guys, just fucking do rom-com. You know this. You're on vacation. Just fucking wiggle around in front of the camera. I don't give a shit. Go.
This is a movie you fall asleep to on the airplane while you're watching it.
I can see it.
Yeah, this is a movie no one watches more than a third of on cable TV at any given moment. Just
Yeah.
like you're flipping, you're in, you're out. Let's just kind of wrap this up,
Yep.
flush this out of our minds
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. Ticket to Paradise. Is it all aboard or is this a staycation? For me, it's a staycation. I'm not taking that ticket. Justine?
I'm gonna trade it in. Try to go somewhere else.
A ticket to
Ticket to something happening.
Brent?
Travel voucher for sure. I'm going to travel to a different destination at a later date.
All right, Dylan, talk some sense into him.
I'll travel to Bali, dude.
Yeah?
Fuck it. Yeah.
It does look nice.
It is, I mean, yeah.
Let's get into this. We're fucking dancing around it. We watched Till, directed by Chinoye Chukwu. It's intentionally called Till, about the lynching of Emmett Till in the 50s. That was sort of a sparking of the civil rights movement in America. And I think the title is intentionally just Till, because really Mamie Till Mobley is the central focus. She's Emmett Till's mom, and basically her fight to get justice for that lynching, which historically was not the case, but more so than justice, was able to put a spotlight on the injustice and how the people that killed Emmett Till went free. And that was one part of a catalyst of the civil rights movement. So hugely important historical event, really given justice, I think, in this movie in terms of like the craft of it. Because let's not fucking mince words. This is like a really hard movie to watch. It is uncomfortable. It cuts you no slack. There's no spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. It is as straight-faced as the event itself. A really impressive movie. It's something you should watch, but it is not fun at all. And yeah, I guess uncomfortable is the word, which is intentionally, making you uncomfortable. But that, man, I was just really impressed with the craft that goes into this, because like this is a real easy territory to slip into like melodrama or, just falling short in the craft department. But man, the score was great. It gave you like a sense of just some ominous happening before the movie even starts. The acting is fucking amazing. Shout out to Danielle Deadweiler. She spends about a third of the movie fucking uncontrollably bawling. And I don't know, to me conveyed, I guess, some of the nuances of grief, where you see her just dead emotionally and then hysterically bawling. If it wasn't so well done, I think it would be not really doing the story justice. But on the craft department, it was all there. Very impressive. I see this being played in a lot of classrooms and colleges and stuff to really convey this idea, because it did, I think, convey the importance of the whole event and like its place in history and all that.
It's a really hard line to walk between doing something that seems exploitative and doing something that seems purposeful. And on one hand, you could walk into this and be like, why do we have to see another Black trauma movie? Like, why is this still happening to get Oscars,
Right.
And it's not that it's not deserved, in terms of like movie making and stuff, but it still feels kind of like bad. But at the same time, it's relevant in an historical sense, but it's also relevant for right now. And I think that the thing that it does by giving you such like a visceral reaction to seeing just, people crying on screen a lot, like really getting into seeing how this mother, is reacting to the killing of her child by some adults, like in a really brutal way. It's like, these are the facts. And so you're seeing this happen. And if you're a person who reflexively cries when you see other people crying, you're going to be crying throughout the movie.
I think if you have a fucking soul, you're going to be moved.
That's what I'm saying. Like it hits you on a level where it's very emotional.
Yeah.
So sometimes that can feel manipulative in movies, but I think that the point of it is the same point that Mamie was trying to make, which is like, no, look at what they did to him. It does show some graphic stuff in the movie, again, to make you look at it. Fortunately, they don't show you like real photos or anything of
recreations.
And so you can kind of deal with that better. And so I could see how you would show it in like a classroom setting or something like that, so that generations like now can feel the way that people may have felt at the time. I mean, obviously not the same, but to get that visceral reaction of like being forced to witness this, like because it's important. It's like she wanted to shine a light on it. The light needs to continue to be shown. So yeah, it's really rough to watch. I think that's the point. Definitely a lot more like visceral than, I don't know, academic or something like that. There's not really like, oh, you have to look into it for a message. No, you don't.
Yeah,
you just have to look at this child and what it did to his mother, And so it does a good job of that. But yeah, rough watch.
And that's where I say the craft comes in, because you mentioned like the exploitation factor, particularly of Black trauma. And I think the filmmakers must have obviously known this. And if it wasn't as well executed as it was, you could veer into that. But man, I read that comic Stuck Rubber Baby earlier this year. There was a similar time frame, maybe like early 60s, whereas this is like mid 50s. It was semi-autobiographical about like, having a gay club or integrated clubs and like figuring your sexuality out in that kind of environment. I don't need to soapbox here too hard, but like it really drives home the fact that conservative things were better back then, the good old days kind of mentality, like all that shit is enforced with terror. And that veneer of civility built around fantasies being pushed around that era as like a wholesome, nice time. And it's like, no, just like, and I think that's a meta commentary going on with this film. It's like, look at this world you guys are fucking fixated on, very important things to keep in mind.
It's funny after watching Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah.
Don't Worry, Darling.
A very like,
Oh, wow. The contrast.
Oh, the only thing you have to worry about is toast.
yeah.
Mm.
Dylan,
Yeah.
you got something?
I mean,
Yeah, I know it's hard, right?
it's not hard. You guys kind of just touched on everything I would. I mean, like, I didn't know about the when she goes back to but where's that city that they take her?
Oh yeah, there was a city on like the outskirts of town that was essentially black owned,
Yeah.
where you could have a little bit of freedom and be left alone.
Yeah, I guess I like didn't know about that part. Like I just assumed that she went back to money and stayed.
Yeah.
It was just crazy to learn new stuff about this thing cuz like I don't know, like in high school they taught me about all this. So like seeing it in a biopic form, it's kind of like crazy to see.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that I wasn't expecting them to actually like show a prop of the body.
Yeah.
When they showed it at first, I was like under a cover.
I
So I was
know.
like, okay, it'll just be like that. Then they're like, oh, here it is. Like in real life.
Right.
So you're just like, oh shit. Like it was an insane reveal to me because I didn't expect them to actually do that.
Yeah, neither did I. I also didn't expect them to show him like
yeah.
just hanging out as a kid and stuff. I thought it would be just about what she did.
Right.
I mean, it is about what she did, but it did spend a lot of time, showing them before so that it wasn't just like procedural or whatever.
Again, you guys are just. I'll just be harping on what you guys just said, so I don't want to be saying more.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think this is a thumbs up, thumbs down situation.
Yeah.
We'll
No,
just
but
call
they did a good job.
a tough watch, but an important watch. Eat your fucking vegetables. Watch the goddamn movie. Learn a thing or two. All right. Jesus Christ. Speaking of fucking satanic motherfuckers, we got Pray for the Devil, directed by Daniel Stam. This is an Exorcist movie. Oh, you know what the marketing is like? The first female exorcist.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
What happens?
Yeah, the lady. It's a lady, and she's
Actually, the second. The first was in the 1300s.
yeah, I know. And they go out and they go out of their way to mention that in the movie. But all the
I think they mean in film, bro.
would that be true?
Yeah, I think in movie. Is there another woman doing exorcisms in an exorcist style movie?
Let's go to our resident
Yeah.
exorcism movie
In a
expert. over here.
movie, I can't think of any because you're not allowed to be
Yeah, you're not
a
a
female
priest.
exorcist,
Yeah.
at least in the Catholic Church.
Catholics tend to have a monopoly on the thing, right?
Yeah, I mean they happen in other religions and cultures, but you wouldn't think of it as an exorcist.
This is a story about a lady trying to dip her toes in the exorcism world. She's a nun, and she has a real calling because her mother, they kind of, pitched it to her as a mental illness, but she suspects possession. And so she's drawn to the field of exorcist work. She's in a ward for exorcist victims.
Yeah, apparently.
Here's a simpler way of describing the
all
plot
right.
of this movie. Everybody's seen Top Gun. All right, so you take the plot of Top Gun, put in exorcism.
Yeah, it's
That's it.
Exorcist Academy.
It's Exorcist.
They're
Academy.
trying to be,
That's it.
I don't get
become-
it. So they're like pilots and priests?
Yep.
and
Yeah,
they fight air demons.
Oh, they go
Oh.
fast.
Yeah.
They
No,
waste a
it's
bunch
just
of,
like she is
money and
Maverick,
fuel.
because she doesn't play by the rules, of the Catholic
Right.
Church, but she's the best.
Does she say that?
Well,
She
she
says
has,
I don't play by the rules.
she has
Yeah.
her own like.
That's what she says. Didn't you see the trailer?
I saw the movie.
She has her own
Oh.
twist. You did not, you fucking liar.
Yeah.
She has her own little take on how to do exorcism that kind of goes against the church's stuff, and hijinks ensue. Dylan, you did not see the movie.
Yes. I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah?
It's about a woman that is a nun and she wants to be, like,
A
I
pilot.
want to be an exorcism,
Yeah.
but Catholic Church won't let me, so I'm just going to have to play by
She
my
went
rules.
rogue.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it.
It was a Maverick.
It was so scary, man.
Justine,
Mhm.
our resident exorcist movie expert.
Mhm.
You have a priest kink.
Mm-hmm.
You like to see
Jesus.
you like
Literally.
to see the boys in the suits go in and yell at little girls tied to their
Girls?
beds.
That's very rare.
What's
Oh,
your
you.
Oh, wait. Don't barely leave. How rare is it?
I mean, well, it's really rare because actually to do
Actually.
well, to do exorcisms, it's super rare because
Okay.
they send people to where the person is and do a lot of work to try to see, is this really a mental illness or is
Right.
this not? There's a lot that goes into it. And you can't just be some rando that goes and does it. It has to be like certified by the Vatican and they say who can go out and do it. And it takes a really long time.
So do you take umbrage with this movie's portrayal of
Yeah,
exorcism,
I mean,
or is
obviously
it
there are a
creative
lot of
license
things.
and you're
Yeah,
cool with
you
it?
have to kind of be like, this movie is meant to be kind of fun. I always say this, but like a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
They're like pitched right down the middle,
Right.
a respectful 93 minutes
Yeah.
long or something like that.
Slim runtime.
Yeah. Okay. You can only do so much. Does some interesting things here and there, but it's not going to deviate too much from the basic thing, which is like, there's a lady. She wants to do exorcisms. Don't think about it.
Right, just go forward.
They don't have super high tech cages, essentially, like in the basement.
Resident Evil style.
Yeah, but it was kind of neat. I mean, that's a cool take on it. Like, she is a nun at what is sort of a hospital for people who may be possessed.
Right.
And so, she takes care of this little girl in particular. She wants to help her, but she wants to do it with kindness.
Yes, she wants to empathize with the person that the demon is possessing, whereas the church says just go after the demon. And there's this thing about like shame and guilt, and like the demon feeds on the guilt. So you got to talk to the person that's being possessed and kind of have them come to terms with their guilt so that the demon doesn't have any room to get in there. I like that take. That's fresh.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
No, it's fleshed out a little bit. You will watch, really though, you will watch like any movie like this.
Yeah.
It has to be 21st century though. You're not going back to like the 70s and watching Italian exorcist knockoff movies.
No, I mean, like, if it's not easy to watch, like I said, this is like a quantity thing. So
Yeah.
if it's something that I would have to like dig around or I don't know what to go find, obviously I don't have time for that.
But it is really a streaming service exclusive kind of content.
Well, and then whatever I saw, since I was like 12. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different takes. And that's what I was saying with this is like, you just kind of have to see what they do interesting or new that you maybe haven't seen before because they're so formulaic
Right.
most of the time. Yeah. So the thing about like the high tech facility that
Right.
they have, that's cool. Priests walking around with like key cards. That's
Right.
cool.
Okay.
Some of the effects that they use are kind of novel.
Speak on that. What was the standouts?
There's a part where they're trying to exorcise the little girl that she has a bond with. And you may have seen this before where like hair gets like sucked into their
that is
mouths.
straight up the poster.
Yeah. So like the demon or whatever is pulling the hair into the girl's mouth and she's choking on it. So that like looks kind of neat.
Yeah.
There's more hair stuff where the exorcist lady is like looking in the mirror. She's like brushing her hair and then she's like, oh, got some hair in my eye. Pull the hair out of her eye and then it keeps going and then they go like a close up to her eyeball and she's like pulling a long strand of hair out of her eyeball. That was gross. My favorite part is that the little girl, when they're doing the exorcism, it's like a two-way mirror.
Yeah.
What's the one?
So she sees that she's being watched. The
Yeah,
demon.
and so she goes up to it and she shouldn't be able to see, but
Yeah.
she kind of does. But she puts her hands like close to the window and she begins to show signs of stigmata. So she has like the
Right.
holes in her hand and then maggots start coming out of her hand and you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then she starts banging on the window and she's squishing the maggots as
Ah.
she's banging on the window. So there's like blood and maggot guts all over it.
And Dylan, you were cheering during this part?
Well, I was like, holy shit, that's fucking nuts.
you,
Like,
threw
why
up, you threw up the fucking horns.
Well, I
started
was like,
headbanging.
yo, dude, that's insane. Like, why would she do that? Why would she do that?
I just wish you wouldn't have put all the maggots in my popcorn before.
Oh, I thought that was
the
just
movie.
funny.
Yeah,
It was a little Halloween joke.
little prank. It was
Yeah.
'tis the season.
Yeah,
You know?
at the time.
All right, let's talk about the goat, Constantine. How does it
Yeah.
fare up?
How-
If Constantine's a 10, which it
Oh.
is, how do you rate this one?
It's probably like a 6.
6?
Yeah. It's not quite as straight down the middle as you see like these exorcism of, which is just
Right.
like, okay, they're going to go to the house. Oh, they're going to see some weird stuff. Definitely going to crawl on the wall. probably gonna bend backwards. You know.
Oh, check.
Yeah.
Just going down the list here. Oh, all of which happens in the movie. Spoilers.
So this is kind of cool because they're like at an actual place, you know,
Right.
where they take you, and
Okay.
there's the story behind it too. Or there's an aspect of her investigating the church,
Yeah.
kind of, which you don't usually see in these. It's usually just
Yeah.
demon priest face off.
Is Constantine legit your favorite Exorcist movie?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you why you need to see more than one, but then as I was thinking that, I realized that you could ask the same of me for whodunit movies.
Yeah.
I guess as long as they have enough elasticity to explore new things, you find yourself all right. Do you find yourself getting like more excited before you see it versus when you actually see it?
No, especially because I generally don't watch trailers or
Yeah.
anything. So I'm just like, oh, I'll watch that. And then just put it on my list. And I really like seeing if they actually incorporate things that are like real. I don't mean like that there are demons and
I just frowned at you and I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
I mean like
I was like, what?
you know, like
You're
the,
smart.
the practices of the church,
Right.
Oh, okay.
the prayers that they would use, you
Yeah.
know, the bureaucracy of it really. And if they like call actual like demon names or call
Yeah.
on certain angels.
Shout out to Azrael. No, Azazel.
Azazel.
Azazel's a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Who else you like?
Baal.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
balls banging.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then I like how they had that statue of
Right.
of Michael, the
Yeah, crushing the
archangel.
devil head.
Yeah, that's a cool statue.
If this movie taught me anything, it's that Colin, who's very heavily tattooed, could be a Catholic priest. if he
Yeah,
wanted to.
I'm
You see the neck tattoo on the one
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
That fool was banging.
Yeah, that was
He
insane.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
like
he's an
a-
ex-gangbanger.
Yeah, and his sister got the demon in her, and he had that lady go in, and they didn't help her in the end.
No, she dies.
Yeah.
No.
Sadly.
Yeah. So I tend to just gloss over this weird factoid of your life that you watch every Exorcist movie that you could get your hands on.
That's
I've
wild.
never talked to another human being who has this interest. I don't think there is one.
I thought it was a bit.
I know. I like exorcism movies, and I like movies about priests too. And I
Jesus.
really wish I could have been a priest, but you know.
Yeah, and I know, like, when I was diving into, like, you know, cult movie land, there's kind of a subgenre of, it crosses over with, like, nunsploitation, you know. So I know, like, the schlocky 70s fandom around these kind of movies, particularly, like, the post-Exorcist knockoff ones. But I don't know anyone that's just, like, strictly 21st century exorcism movies. But you know what? I'm into it. That's what makes this interesting. So
Oh.
Wait, Brent, did you like anything about the movie?
did hearing Justine talk about the movie make you like the movie more?
So the box office for Pray for the Devil,
Yes.
$7 million domestic, $4 million international.
Was it what was the budget?
Is that good?
Did you
I've been trying to hunt the budget. I
None-
cannot
none-
They don't
find
want you
it.
to know.
I think
No, but-
I think there's not a real budget since it's like documentary style.
documentary.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the church covered it up.
right.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
I did like seeing it with teenagers in the audience. This is a PG-13 movie, so compared to some of the more extreme horror films we've been watching, it's nice to see just some wholesome PG-13
Yeah.
scares.
They released it too close to Halloween.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
think
like 2 days before.
$7 million?
We've talked about this. I think a
of
lot of people were scared to go up against Halloween ends.
Yeah.
it.
Smile was fucking-
earlier, you know, like
I'm still
They still wanna end.
fascinated at the two runaway successes this Hallowicked season. Smile, I think, just banking, and I liked Smile, but it's pretty middle
mid.
of the road,
Yeah.
and
Smile wins by forfeit.
they just were there.
Yeah,
They were
they
there.
showed
They
up.
opened in like September, like mid-September, and Barbarian caught some shrapnel beneficially.
Yeah, Barbarian
just
was
existing.
September 3rd,
Yes.
and then Smile.
it was September 30th. So
That's
like
when-
September,
Oh.
but
Oh, it had a
basically
3.
October.
That's when Smile came out.
Yeah.
And it just kept fucking going. And when Halloween shit the bed, it only
That's
did
all.
better.
That's all that was there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Terrifier also.
Yeah, and shout
Yeah.
out to I keep fucking respecting Terrifier too because it's at 8 million.
Yeah, it's
right
8 mil now. Yeah,
Off of a $250,000 budget, off of an original IP created by the writer, director, fucking special
Damien-
effects
Damien
artist.
Leone.
Like, goddamn,
Not
just
rated.
Up here. unfucking rated. God damn.
No marketing budget.
Damn, it wasn't rated?
No.
No,
Damn,
which
man.
is fucking amazing. The MPAA can burn in hell, you fucking pieces of shit. If Terrifier can do it, you can fucking do it. Make these fucking bozos obsolete. Put your fucking movie out and count your fucking ducats, because goddamn, Terrifier 2, infinite fucking respect. What they're doing for movies right now is just round of applause. Fucking, how many cuss words are there? You motherfuckers, you
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
I
I've
love
held a grudge since Clerks getting an NC-17 rating hung over their heads. Fuckers. Obsolete. Go fucking hang out with the goddamn comics code in fucking
Oh
hell.
God,
You
yeah, I'm with you.
goddamn
Fucking
mutants.
nerds.
Yes.
You fucking nerds.
get
And-
him, Dylan.
Yes.
Go off.
Nerds.
Anyways, rounding up, are we going to spray holy water at the demon, or are we just going to let it chill? I think I don't care for the genre of film. It's a little po-faced for me. So I can't say I loved it. I'll be in the middle. You know what? I'm just going to be like, you know what? I'm going to let this ride. I think it's ultimately just not my thing.
Oh, it's really not my thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Once I got locked into my Top Gun logic, I was like, why don't I just go watch Top Gun?
So you just exercised it. The demon's gone.
Brent, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Were you scared? Is that why you don't?
You know, the only scares in the movie were jump scares, which I think are just kind of cheap. So I don't know if you would particularly like the scare style of it.
I was scared. I was fucking terrified.
Oh, that's right. You watched.
No, I watched it with you guys. I was there. That shit was scary, man. I got to admit, it was fucking nuts. And I got another question for you, Brent.
Okay.
During the movie,
Uh
did you figure out who did it?
huh. The devil.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Who did it? Satan. The
The
devil,
devil?
I guess.
I'm in the middle. Brent exercised. Justine,
I'm inviting in all the demons.
All the
just
demons
what
come in?
side are you on in
Suck
these
'em all
movies?
in.
that's a great question.
Make some friends.
Yeah, when you watch these exorcism movies, what side are you on? Are you like want to get the demon out of the person, or do you want them to just be a demon or possessed?
Damn, Dylan
Well,
with
they
the hard
never
hitting
do
question.
anything interesting when they're possessed, though.
They go,
Yeah, but they usually just lay there.
Don't you like when they bend over backward?
Yeah, and they
They
usually just
bend over, they
backwards.
barf.
Hey, what about when they crawl up the wall?
Pee,
They
they
pee, they
fart,
poop.
they split white boogers on the wall.
Yeah. They call you names. And
I
they
think I
say
do
stuff.
like I
They do
like
funny bits.
the actual exorcism part. I think that's what wins.
But when they're
Nomino
possessed,
sanctum motore,
all that,
nomino
and then-
sanctum. Fuck you. Nomino sanctum isco nomino sanctum.
your
You're a-
mother's a cock in hell.
Nomino sanctum
Fuck
mitore,
you.
Margano,
Fuck
Rabino,
you.
Nuskida.
But wait, did you answer? You didn't answer the question. Whose side are you on? Humans,
I
You
don't
want
really
the priest to
care.
win?
demons?
No, either one. I mean, the priest is kind of like you expect it, but when the demon wins, it's like, haha.
Oh, okay,
You
fair
Gotcha.
enough.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're team demon.
Yeah,
That's
team
fine.
Are there
Demon.
movies where the demon wins completely? And
Well, there's those ones where it's like at the end of Thriller, where he's
Right.
like, you turn around and
Ah.
oh, it's still in
Yeah.
there.
The
So I
priest
don't
walks
know.
out of the house, the cross turns upside down.
Yeah, or the priest turns around and then he smiles weird, something like that.
All right. Dylan, since you saw the movie,
So I would say, like, I thought it was shot well. Like, I thought the portrayal of an exorcist, like the exorcising, was great. The acting, the delivery of lines, amazing. Sets, amazing. The effects of like the hair pulling out of the eyes and the mouth. And, whoa, I thought I was real.
Dylan, will you be 100% with the people right now?
Yeah,
Why are you scared to watch these movies?
I watched it.
Okay.
Because I'm Mexican. Hear me out. One, I watch these movies, but I don't like them. Two, I feel like it's too real.
have you had any experience in your life resembling anything like surrounding an exorcism or a demon?
Yeah, when I went to Merciful Fate, there was a guy that was possessed, not on stage, in the crowd, standing between me and Colin, and like he was getting his ass whooped by everyone. But that guy was clearly
I
possessed.
think he was possessed by Patrons.
Good answer. I mean, what am I going to do? Argue with that?
Yeah. So like, I've been there. I've been there, seen it.
I'll let Dylan off the hook here and say final factoid, shout out to the film for not having any like songs in it. It was just
Yeah.
like score.
Yeah.
So nice to not hear like
Sympathy
for
for
the
devil.
devil. Yeah, that would have been a real obvious cut or some fucking
Like Rob Zombie. starts
yeah. Yeah, good job. Good job on that one.
also say just leave it out because then it like really dates it
Yeah.
and like forces a tone on it.
I have a weird pitch, and this is apropos of nothing, but having just watched like a bunch of horror movies from the 80s over the Shocktober Spooktacular, now that I have some distance from the 90s, I really like watching 90s horror movies, like the straight to video bullshit. Like, I don't know, there's just something cool about the quote unquote vibe.
Mhm.
And like I even can start to relate to that in the 2000s now that we're away from that, where it's like, God damn, this is like, what do we watch? Dead Silence, right?
Yeah.
Like Dead Silence only feels like a movie from that time period. Like,
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Yeah.
it feels very much like that. So is the lesson there? If I like an 80s movie for feeling like an 80s movie, 70s movie for feeling like a 70s movie, so on and so forth, should you just be making your movies like as current as possible? Is there a benefit to being like anti-timeless in a way? Isn't it like it's like leaving a little gift for the future?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's neat because like especially if you think about like movies that try to portray a past
Right.
time, it's never right.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have these actual like time capsules.
yes.
Like we were watching Lost Boys,
yeah.
and it's just so cool.
So late 80s.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
and you get something made now that's supposed to be from the 80s. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just based on, I don't know, 80s stuff.
Yeah,
You know, it's
ideas of it.
so inauthentic.
I mean,
yeah.
did you guys watch Psycho Gorman?
I haven't seen that yet. No.
Watch Psycho Gorman. That's another like case to be made for the you can capture the spirit and aesthetic of it without just putting tracking lines.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
Over, and like like a
Sepia
neon
tone filter.
Exactly.
etc.
Yeah. Maybe every generation says this, but I feel like we live in such like a weird era right now that documenting everybody being on their phones and having like text messages on the actual
Yeah.
movie screen. It's just, I don't know. When I see that, I kind of check out mentally.
Yeah,
I don't
20
imagine-
years from now, Unfriended is going to be fucking dope to look at.
Really?
Yes. Was Unfriended the one? Unfriended isn't the one where they're on the Zoom call
that
the whole
No,
time.
John,
that's unfriended. They're on Skype.
What's the other one? Because there was two like social
Yeah, but
media.
one of
based
them's
ones.
like Skype.
Unfollowed.
Unfollowed and Unfriended.
Unfriended.
Yeah.
Those are different movies. What's the one where the girl gets crazy because she gets unfriended? I don't know. It's not an across the board, but like there's some benefit to schlock.
But here's the
looking
thing.
like it was
You're
current year.
struggling to find the titles and get them right. We knew the Lost Boys.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
80s.
yeah, but
that
that-
was established.
You got to give it 20 years. That's
It was a banger then, and that's why it's a
yeah,
banger
it was
now.
a banger then.
Like
no
yeah,
doubt.
like Unfriended, Unfollowed. Those weren't bangers.
Big difference.
Yeah, but Dead Silence wasn't a banger either, but it's fun to watch now and be like, oh, that was the 2000s, all right. Yeah, I'm not I mean, a good movie is like, the fucking Godfather or something isn't like a 70s movie or doesn't feel like it's bogged in its time or anything. There's timelessness, which I would lump the Lost Boys or something like that into. But in terms of schlock, in terms of junk, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe in 20 years, the Nameless don't give a fuck. What was that, Terror Train, the Tubi original that we watched?
Great job.
We're going to come...
Yeah, I can see that one. Just because like it has, because that one has its own unique visual, component to it.
Whoa.
Like, the
You
characters-
did not see Terror Train.
I seen Terror Train with
The
the guy,
Tubi original?
the guy with like the knife.
Yeah, but there's a real terror. I mean, there's an original Terror Train, and then there's the one that
Oh,
came out
maybe I
this
saw
year.
that one then.
Yeah, I do not think you saw the remake of... I don't know think you saw the
The
Tubi original
remake of
Terror
Train. Yeah, but that's a fun one. But again, I think that you can make a movie that still feels like now
Uh-huh.
without the cell phones and stuff, but you have to have the reason why they don't work.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Barbarian.
about. That's what I'm talking about. Like and
Barbarian was going to age incredibly
that'll
well.
work, yeah, and but that also feels very contemporary.
Yeah.
It's not like shot in like a classic style.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
there's-
If you want to say that, yeah, like make movies that are very now, like Barbarian. I'm all
Yeah.
for it. But if you're gonna be like, yeah, make movies now, and it's just people on their phones and stuff, it's like, it's not really
Yeah.
a movie.
All right, we got one more movie. This has been
This is way longer than I wanted to spend on.
This has
Pray
been
for the
Deep
Devil.
Thoughts with Colin. We're moving on to Triangle of Sadness, directed by Ruben Östlund, Swedish director. This is a film about essentially a cruise of wealthy folks. Things go awry on the cruise. They get stranded on an island. That's a very poor explanation of the movie because I think I'm having a hard time thinking about what the movie's about. I mean, it's obviously about class
It's an eat the rich situation.
Yes, literally, and I'm glad you brought that up. If I wanted to be a dickhead, I'd call it like the A24 version of Eat the Rich, but A24.
But Neon made it. Neon's way better.
A24 is. I think that's what you say when something is like pseudo intellectual. I think this movie is actually intellectual. Like it has substance. Don't get me wrong, but it is a bit. Eat the Rich was like on the forefront of my mind, and I guess Life of Brian too because it's yucky.
It's also it's humanity and how it will always kind of manifest itself in the same fashion, even if you shift the gender dynamics,
Right.
Like we always find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah. Or,
Like no matter what the setting is, if you're stranded on a beach, if you're on a boat, if you're on land, because these are the three acts. It was kind of cool when they shifted from the boat to the island because it shifted gender in terms of who was at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, just the most capable person is on top.
But it's human nature to fall into the trappings of power and resources.
Yeah.
And
whoever's going to be on top is always going to be exploiting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moral of the film, I guess.
I think so.
Is there one?
It's just kind of a look at what we are. It's an unflinching look at what we are. We're full of shit, puke, and horrible thoughts. And cheap materialism that ultimately doesn't matter. I did like that aspect of it, how even on the island, one of the wealthy travelers is trying to barter with Rolexes.
Yeah.
Mean nothing when you're stranded.
Right.
But that's the only currency he can come up with because he has no actual skills to apply to life on an island.
But it could be worth a lot when you get off of the island if you're banking
but there's
on that. But that's
no promise
pedantic.
You also have to hold on to them and not get them taken by the stronger force.
Right. It's pretty blunt in its portrayal of like the class disparity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of just a meditation on that subject. Well, I guess it's hard to call a film that plays the refused while people are, getting tossed around and throwing up
you'll
as
get
not
this.
blunt or on the nose. But for being as on the nose as it is, I think there's still a respect for the viewer.
In prior episodes, you've talked about Fight Club and how that's aged for you as you've gotten older. Right? So you could have gone Fight Club with this, versus where it actually went, which was like you said, it's actually intellectual, a good meditation on these topics.
Yeah. And, to go back to my point until I think that's maybe where the craft comes in. It's really stuck out to me how long they'll hold shots on people when one person will be talking off screen to a person and you'll see that person's reaction to it. And things like that help flesh out the characters and make you connect to them because ultimately, I think most of the characters are kind of stand-ins or metaphors for larger social issues or classes. You have people who are aspirational on the rise. You have young people who are good-looking, who have a little bit of money. You have old people who are, their body is failing them, but they have a whole lot of money. You have tech money. You have war money. You have all these different kinds of money interacting with each other in the movie. But I don't think it ever falls into caricature.
No.
Yeah, portraying the characters is kind of well-rounded, but not necessarily relatable. For instance, when it starts out, you're kind of looking at the male model boy as I don't know, maybe having more substance than the world he's thrown into, right? So maybe you think he's going to be this Holden Caulfield type, as the movie goes on. But no, they show him as just as shitty as everyone else, if not shittier, And that's kind of how you make something not be caricature is good craft. That's what kept this movie interesting to me.
It was a good example of showing, not telling.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the longest monologues, Abigail, when she's talking about how she's the captain, they're being very specific in what they want you to know at this point. But the rest of it is just you're just watching these people doing stuff and you're like, oh yeah, that's bad. Oh yeah, that's bad too. They're just exaggerated enough to get the point across without being too subtle that you don't get what they're trying to show you. But they do set it up. In the beginning, you get the points that it's going to try to make. You see the guy and he's an actor or he's a model. They're like, okay, now you're looking down on people.
Right.
Because you're rich enough to do so. And now you're an H&M model. So everyone's happy and the same and it's a rainbow of colors. So you're like, okay, we get that. And then the guy is like, maybe not going to get the job because he's not young enough or whatever. And he has wrinkles or something. It's like, okay, so fleeting, youth. And then there's the guys arguing with his girlfriends. Why is it so hard to talk about money? So So they're going to talk about money.
Yes.
Why are we falling into these gender roles? So they're going to
And
talk about gender roles. And then later, they're when she's telling him that they're not really in love, and she's it's a transactional sort of relationship.
Yeah.
They're going to show you a transactional or several transactional
Yes.
relationships later on. So they do set it up, but again, they don't make it super explicit that they're going to do that. You just kind of see that stuff playing out later on.
And I think, they bring up that theme of generosity and
Mhm.
and you hear that word generosity used as like a motif, right?
Mhm.
As they call it, film school stuff. Everyone in the movie kind of thinks they're generous, but they're kind of monstrous. And
A lady makes the entire staff of a yacht go swimming.
and because of that, the oysters are left out, and then everyone gets food poisoning. And I don't know. I think maybe that's like the big exclamation point part of the movie when everyone's just shitting and puking.
You touched on how the exaggeration isn't too far to the point where it becomes like lampooning or
Mhm.
satire. We have a very big-brained individual in our group over here. Hey, Big Brain.
Oh, me? I thought you were talking about Colin.
No.
Yeah.
So, you ever see that show Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No.
Larry David?
Literally, I have never watched
You've
it.
never
You've really
seen it?
never seen Curb?
Yeah, that's like a one show I never watched.
Whoa.
That's kind of fucking.
All right.
I almost respect that. Is that fucked up?
That's
Can we start watching Curb, please?
I refuse.
Yes.
real?
So
I'll watch it, but
That's so odd.
I'll wait.
I respect it though.
Thank you. I am a big Seinfeld head. That's what's funny.
all right. Well, all right. So as a person that hasn't seen Curbed,
Yes.
did you enjoy the early part of the movie where the model and the model are having their fight? Did you find any humor in that? Describe to me your
No,
experience.
because I've been there too many times.
Oh no! The direction I was going with this is if he found humor in that situation, then he would love Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Right. It's
because
also-
it's predicated on this person that is just making their existence unnecessarily uncomfortable
yeah.
for comedic effect, and that's how the tone that the movie started on.
Yeah, it's a subversion of cultural norms, or it's like you're watching someone be. It's the jester who tells the truth, Dylan.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
pettiness
yeah.
stretched out to the fault of the character.
Funny.
Yeah, it's a classic
Yeah,
comedic
I
trope.
was dying.
But yeah, I guess that's maybe why they block it off into chunks in the movie the way they do. Like part one is kind of like really focused on the pretty boy, and then the second part is just all shit and puke, and then and like rich people acting horribly, and then Act 3, those pirates blow up the ship and those guys are stranded, and then it's Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
So it is like really three different tones, but I guess the same themes throughout.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I walked away enjoying the film and probably understanding it. Maybe the methods were a bit not necessarily confusing, but just like distinct choice, like the very ambiguous ending. Is it an ambiguous ending?
You could read it a bunch of ways. Either our protagonist makes it in time to save his God, what's the word? Not connect.
Beyonce.
Yeah,
Oh,
but when
girlfriend?
The
His
sub,
beard.
yeah, the sub of his cuck relationship. There's the cuck, there's the bull, and then there's.
Are you talking about the
little-
Filipino lady, Abigail?
I'm talking about
No,
when.
no, she's a cuck. She's a she-cuck.
there's the word I was looking for. Estranged. His estranged
Oh.
fiance.
Right.
Yeah, is about to get her head bashed in. You don't know for sure if her head gets bashed in, 'cause you see like
Right.
Abigail struggling with
The
having to
morality
murder.
of murder. Yeah,
You see the final scene is I don't know,
Carl.
Carl.
it's
Yeah.
not Carl.
Yeah, it was
His name
Carl.
is Carl.
What's
Fuck
it?
that
Is that
name.
the name? Isn't that the name of the llama with the hat?
Shut the fuck up.
Who the hell names their kid Carl?
What?
It is. No, there's a llama with a hat named Carl, but this character is also named Carl. You
Okay,
dickhead.
good callback then.
All right, so yeah, Carl is racing through the path that
Llama-esque.
Yaya and Abigail were previously on, whereupon they discovered a luxury resort
Right.
that has an elevator, just opens by itself and plays club music.
You know,
Anyway,
the Golden Girls thing.
So
I
you-
recently saw an episode of Golden Girls with my aunt where they get stranded, and then it really is like they're just
Yeah,
on the
just
other
on
side
the
of the
resort.
island. Yeah.
just
Damn.
ruined the whole movie for me. Anyways, yeah, it's unresolved as to whether Yaya's head got bashed in, and I like that.
It's ambiguous. Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, right?
matter
I
at
mean,
all.
the point of the film is kind of talking about hierarchies and power structures, or just that those things exist. It doesn't really seem to be particularly judgmental about it. Thus, I think whatever the nuts and bolts of the plot are kind of irrelevant to the point of the story. He's about to bash the lady's head in, maybe. That kind of calls back to when the men were hunting and they smashed the donkey's head in. Just brutal. Animatronic donkey, specifically says in the credits. Shout out to the animatronic donkey. I forgot that brings kind of animal rights element to the film. That's the other thing I thought of when they were all shitting and puking, is they keep showing this food.
There's also this mirroring or contrasting of they show you very clearly all the different courses that they're having during the captain's dinner. There's a lot of close-up shots of that, and it's like, you're eating an oyster on a caviar, blah, blah, blah. And then they're eating this seafood on the island, which is just she went and caught it out of the water.
Exactly.
But it's a nice contrast of their fancy meal of seafood versus their
sustenance.
And that fancy food is giving them food poisoning. Yeah. Because they had to play around.
And the
so
not fancy food is keeping them alive.
Yeah.
I have a question about the food scene, the fancy food stuff. Brent, as a non-vegetarian vegan person here, what's that clear gelatin stuff they're eating?
Oh, that's that could be a bunch of different things actually, because and a lot of fine dining, there's foams and jellies. It could be this consommé of duck fat rendered with some type of fruit or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of things it could have been.
Okay, it could just be anything really.
I think they just squeezed some LA styles clear gel
Yeah.
onto a plate and then threw some
Yeah, I mean,
little
ultimately,
kelp on it.
They're just trying to kind of show you some yucky stuff before everyone starts puking and shitting all over the
Yeah, I
place.
think
these
that
people
the
eat?
device there was to give you the jiggling because the boat was being rocked.
Yeah.
It wanted to show you even it was another visual device in terms of how much the boat was being rocked and how much everything that these people were just over consuming was sloshing around in their intestines. Right. The diarrhea scene, my God, where it's just a guy on a toilet. I've never seen that in a movie before.
Again, this is, you get race, you get class, you get gender, and of course, they're going to talk about the environment and people's relationship over animals. It is all about kind of power, after all. Handled very subtly and sort of left to you to figure out without banging you over the head with it. No pun intended.
What do you think happened at the end?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. This might be just one of those instances where the, filmmaker leaves it so ambiguous. It's just, you have to take it as an impressionistic kind of painting, it just makes you feel the way it makes you feel and don't worry about it. But there's still some monkey brain part of me that's why is he running? He doesn't know that there's a thing there. You have to kind of complete the story. Ultimately, I respect it for just being kind of evocative in and of itself. But I guess I don't think that lady kills that other lady. I think just because I think she's a moral person at heart. But I think that little Weasley guy is fucking literally running to his own physical detriment, getting whipped and everything to return to ultimately civilization, comfort. You sort of see that the camp at the beach may have wind of this resort existing. The gun guy from the resort sees him at the beach. And so they got a taste of reality, and he's running back to comfort. He got his fantasy that he was talked about as far as being stripped of traditional gender roles, and I see him as running not so much towards the...
You think he was running toward the resort. Not to find those ladies?
Yeah.
Dylan,
what happened to Tony Soprano?
Well, I don't think Tony Soprano died.
Okay.
That's one. Two, I don't know, I guess it is ambiguous. Because at first I thought that guy was a mirage until I thought the whole thing was a mirage, to be honest.
Death dream.
No,
died on the boat.
You're right.
That guy could have been a mirage, and the elevator, that probably wasn't there either. Who knows? But that's just speculation. That's just what I imagined.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Occam's razor. Whatever the simplest answer is, probably the truth. And the truth is, this guy has food poisoning. He was running to go take a shit in the woods. Boom, done.
Final verdict for Triangle of Sadness. Are we turning that frown upside down?
It's a Balenciaga frown, or is this an H&M
Hey,
smile?
Okay, to me this is an H&M smile. We are all equal. We all shit and puke. Justine?
Yeah, H&M smile, but it is long.
Yeah.
So sit comfortably.
Normally I would like to bury anything that has a refused sync in it, but this year we got The Bear, which had the same song, of course, because that's all anybody ever uses. And then we got this movie, and H&M Smile all the way, baby.
Dylan?
H&M Smile, and shout out to Abigail, the true hero of the film.
Yes.
The real hero.
That's it.
I want to give a shout out to refused early records like Everlasting and this might be the truth. The really early shit that was cool. I want to see Ab Hananda get some love. Shout out to 90s Umeå hardcore. I think that was the point of the film.
So we didn't touch on this. The guy is in like 2 other movies that we watched recently.
That's how forgettable he is.
Yeah, no, I remembered him. I just couldn't fucking
same.
recall what movie he was in.
Yeah.
I had to look it up. Also, I learned that the actress that plays Yaya died.
What?
No.
Yeah, she's like dead. I
That's
didn't
the
know
last
that.
movie.
Yeah.
Fuck no, what's your jeez.
Yeah.
So on God, that shit was bussin' respectfully.
Oh God.
Yeah, that shit is. Brent, what do you got for us today?
All right, I'm going to walk delicately with this one because I have some good news that's going to get Dylan excited, but then it's going to pull it back a little bit.
Okay.
So, Dylan, did you know that Tobin Bell is going to return as Jigsaw? So here's the deal.
Because I got the Saw hookups on like my feed, but they were like, it is rumored that Tobin Bell will be back as Jigsaw.
Yeah. Also, you don't know what that could be like. Hokum, like it shows it like a flashback.
Yeah.
Guys,
cameo.
I can confirm that Tobin Bell has already returned as Jigsaw for Saw, the Experience. It's not a movie. It's an immersive theater experience opening this month in London. Tobin has voiced Jigsaw throughout the entire experience,
Hey, dudes.
which combines immersive theater and escape room elements.
You're having a jolly old time right now. But cheerio. You like Mr. Bean. Now, pretend you're an alien or something. There's fish and chips in your stomach, mate. But there's too much salt. Welcome to the House of Fun.
So, the experience is 90 minutes with a themed bar at the end called The Trap Room, based on Jigsaw's workshop. While we await Saw 10 for next year, what plot would you like to see unfold in Saw the Experience?
Tobin Bell is fucking the banger of Saw, and the dumbest thing they could fucking
Yeah.
do is kill him in the 3rd movie. Spoilers.
But it was the funniest thing they could have done because they just kept bringing him back for flashbacks. Like they just knew it'd be hilarious to keep bringing him back. And back.
I have very Dylan, close your ears. I have very little respect for the Saw franchise, but I think Tobin Bell really fucking is the shining light in it. So it's cool that he's back. But yeah, I don't know. What do you have? What are you doing in the live theater experience?
Fanfic.
What are we rocking?
Well, first of all, where is the timeline? When does this take place?
Pre-Spiral, post-Jigsaw.
But Jigsaw happens pre-Saw, right?
So, okay, to explain the timeline.
Okay.
The deaths in Jigsaw
Yep.
is pre-Saw.
Sure,
But the
man.
movie where, like, the investigations happen 3D. But, to spoiler, the guy that's in Jigsaw was the first guy in the first trap that no one knows about that happens in the barn. And he kills 3 other people just to get, like, speculation that Jigsaw is back.
I love this stupid fucking movie.
So it's very hard to explain.
So where does this?
It takes place post Jigsaw, but
Okay.
it could happen Spiral. I don't even know.
Spiral is completely unconnected.
Yeah,
Spiral is like
Spiral's connected. It's from the book of Saw.
yeah,
mind
but
you.
Spiral's post Saw 8, aka Saw 3.
Jigsaw. I
No,
think
Jigsaw's 8. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, what's
No one knows exactly. It's almost like a second timeline.
7 is 3D, the final chapter,
Yes.
aka part 7 out
Yes,
of 9.
and then 8 is Jigsaw. Then
And then
9 is Spiral. the book of
Spiral
Saw.
is totally.
If I have to draw a map of the timeline,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it goes straight. Jigsaw ends here. Then there's like a weird alternate timeline where Spiral takes place.
You assume it happens after Saw 3D, aka Saw the final chapter, aka part 7 out of 9.
Yes. They never really explained that
Yeah.
part yet. Hopefully in 10 they explain that like Chris Rock and that other guy connects.
Yeah.
love it.
There's no argument here. I have every answer Dylan says is right.
One day we'll figure out
I
Saw.
just have questions.
I mean, you've
Dylan
seen all the
has
Saws,
answers.
but it's just hard
Yeah.
to fucking figure out. So I'm hoping I hope it takes place
This is the experience, mind you, not Saw 10.
I know it's not.
Just
This is speculation.
I'm saying just for the listeners.
This is a fanfic.
Yeah. This is
a
fanfic for the
Okay,
experience.
so you open the door to the building. And
You know what?
Crush.
No. I don't. I want it to be post 7, pre-Jigsaw.
Okay.
In this experience, I want the doctor from the first movie to come back. Okay, the doctor's around, and they explain the two guys that come out to like kidnap Detective Hoffman, and you go around there. Like, I just want to know like what happens between the doctor, and possibly it could connect to Jigsaw, so I could figure out what happened with that guy, and like, because apparently he was around the whole time too, which you don't know until Jigsaw at the very end that he was around since before the doctor. A lot of stuff is happening. All right, I just want to know the connection between the doctor and the guy from Jigsaw and how they like work together, or apparently they didn't, or maybe the guy from Jigsaw was one of the masked men, who is believed to be one of the two guys from the opening of Saw 7 that were in the saw trap with the buzz saw trap with the girlfriend.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, knowing that you do have Tobin Bell to give you his voice in any capacity, how would you want his voice to play in the experience?
I would like it to be like tapes left for either the doctor or the guy from Jigsaw. I don't want him to be like talking directly to us.
Mhm.
I'd like it to be like from Saw
Artifacts. Yeah.
Like in Saw 4, they open up with Detective Hoffman walking into the autopsy of Jigsaw,
And they find
and
the
they find that
cassette tapes.
wax tape that he swallowed from 3, which you didn't see. But in 4, they say that they show you that he eats a tape,
And that's how they find it when they do the autopsy.
Yes, and then he listens to it because he left that tape for Hoffman, but it was mostly instructions for Hoffman because Hoffman was also working with Jigsaw at the same time.
Right.
A lot of stuff is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's the main thrust of Saw 4 through 6.
Yes, 7.
Right. You're not. You know you can't.
No, I'm saying like Dylan gave the correct answer.
I just want him to be talking to the detective.
Well, let's toss him a little bit more Saw.
Okay, thank you.
Saw is teaming up with Autograph.io to release a new line of NFTs wherein a few lucky winners will be able to visit the set of Saw. Enticing or pass?
I don't have to go through anything, do I?
You just buy an NFT.
But then I don't have to to get in here, you have to figure out this puzzle. I don't want that. Like, I just want to walk in.
So you want to be able to just win?
Yeah, I don't want to play the games. I just want to fucking walk into the sets and be like, "What's up?" I don't want to play any games. I just want to see what's happening.
Oh, cool reverse bear trap.
I don't want an escape room experience. I just want to show up and see what's
Oh,
happening.
no. Hold up.
Is that the needles that Amanda fell into?
Yeah, I don't want that.
No. Let me let me delineate here.
Amanda.
I was talking about Saw the experience. The NFT drop means you actually get to go to the set of Saw 10, the movie.
Okay, but I don't have to do anything else but buy an NFT.
Yeah, just buy an NFT.
Oh, I'd buy an NFT. I thought the whole time I had to go through some fucking bullshit.
Do you think they just do different colored spirals on Jigsaw's face for the NFTs? Or do you
No,
think
I
they
think
give
it's
you
like
Pigmen?
you get the puppet, you get Billy the Puppet,
Yeah.
you get the spiral, you'll probably get the reverse bear trap, you'll probably get Tobin Bell. I'm hoping you'd get
They already did a series 1, so some of the stuff is already out. But
did I name them all?
I mean, you get pretty damn close. The new series has more stuff.
They do not have a Hoffman in the new series.
Is it Hoffman shows up?
Oh my god, I don't know. But
I'll
send you the link.
My favorite part of the movie.
We'll experience it together.
The fan favorite Hoffman.
Unbelievable. So we are recording this on November 3rd, which is Godzilla Day, declared because it's the 68th anniversary of the first film. And Toho used today to announce that their next Godzilla movie installment will drop on November 3rd, 2023. So a year from today. It's going to be directed by Takashi Yamazaki, who was responsible for the visual effects of Shin Godzilla. Is anybody here a Godzilla fan? Just me?
Not like a big one.
Yeah.
I've seen Godzilla movies in passing, but definitely the only Godzilla movie I really connected to or cared about.
Well, because this was the Toho one, the Japanese one
Yeah.
versus the American ones.
Yeah, if the new one is coming out, is going to be in that
It's
vein.
Toho. Yeah.
I forced you to watch that movie at gunpoint, right, Justine?
Yeah, that was good.
So-
Loved it. For the record, I was wrong about being hesitant to watch the movie. It was a fucking masterpiece, and I really love that movie. I think about it a lot. Oh, we watched The Crazies recently,
Mhm.
and that reminded me of Shin Godzilla because it's very procedural.
For sure.
You see the government working on stuff.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was because Godzilla shows up.
No. Shout out George Romero, goddamn
So-
legend.
Earlier this year, we saw Emily the Criminal, starring Aubrey Plaza. She has just been cast into Agatha, Coven of Chaos, alongside Catherine Hahn, who will return as Agatha. This will be her second appearance in the Marvel Universe, because apparently she was in Legion. I never watched it. Did you?
Legion.
I tried.
It was like Teen X-Men.
No,
Right?
it's about Legion.
He's like in a hospital.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
with
in a
other
mental ward.
X-Men. Well, not with other X-Men, but it's like Wink takes place in the X-Men universe.
It does take place.
And they're teenagers.
No, they're not teenagers.
No?
No.
I'm
they're just-
confusing it with New Mutants, which is the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
thing.
yes.
He gets
Wait,
all
so
scared.
Agatha, that's the fucking
the witches.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go into the title. Okay. So it's called Agatha, Coven of Chaos, not to be confused with Multiverse of Madness, but that's not their first choice. Their first choice was just House of Harkness.
You know what I know Agatha Harkness from is from the Fantastic Four when she's Franklin Richards' nanny she's a witch in that one too. But yeah, she does shenanigans on him. So maybe this is the tie-in to the Fantastic Four, baby.
So are you excited for this?
Yeah, she was like
Yeah.
the only good part of that fucking show. So like
Catherine Hahn.
yeah, no, she was great. That character's cool because she fucks with Franklin Richards. Yeah, I'm down. So long as it's fucking not the goddamn Scarlet Witch bullshit. None of that ever again. Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch doesn't show up. It's great.
Justine, are you excited for Agatha?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
really, because I do like basically any like magic in comics. I'm
Yeah.
pretty down for, but given that it stems from Scarlet Witch, I just hated that so much. WandaVision.
WandaVision,
So
yeah.
bad. She was the only good thing that came of that, and if it's connected, I feel like it can't be that different. But hopefully, I'd
Yeah, I
like to
don't
see
think-
them go a different direction.
Do you think has Marvel done magic well yet?
No.
Right?
Mm-mm.
I don't think
Dang,
so
no.
either.
All right. Dylan, tell us what's coming up.
Unlimited.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Regal Movie Masters Unlimited. Join us next time where we watch Dun 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 Tar, the one about the composer. We also got the Banshees of Inisherin and a mystery movie. Get your pirate straw hats on and your devil fruits ready to eat and join us. Bye!